Welcome back, Paige Bueckers. Welcome back, the player that was supposed to take over women's basketball. Welcome back, because since in the last 18 months, I believe we have seen a version of Paige Bueckers, and I'm going to explain why. And this is, I've always said this, where it's like, I've always made the statement that I am a Paige hater because I don't think she plays up to her potential. And we're starting to see a little bit. I think Unrivaled is going to be the perfect thing for Paige because she has to play more free. She has to. And this is a player who anyone with a brain cell can tell you that Paige Bueckers has more actual skill and natural ability than any other guard in the WNBA. That the only problem with Paige is in here. Other than like maybe a little bit of a slow feet on defense. But like at the end of the day, like no player is perfect. But her real flaw is in here. It's in there. It's not out in the court. Or sorry, it's not handle. It's not shooting. It's nothing. For a lot of time, she's so scared of making a mistake that she often makes the wrong play. She's so scared to make the wrong play that late in game she never made the right play. And that's something we saw throughout her whole last year in college. And we saw it in quite a lot of WNBA. She was so late in game, she was so scared to make wrong plays that she never made the right play. And then there was one game where it looked like Oklahoma were going to take them in the tournament. It looked like Oklahoma had them. They were on the ropes. UConn were down at halftime, and Oklahoma were in control. And then Paige she said it, it was like a blur. She went in the zone. She was hitting shots. She was shit talking. She was celebrating. It was like when we see Demon Caitlin. You know when Caitlin's hitting shots and just screaming, like you know that there's a different animal in there. You very rarely see that with Paige, and we saw it a bit today. And she starts off the game from early in the game. Paige was willing to shoot the three ball. First possession of the game, they step under, she shoots the three. That's something she hasn't done since, realistically, 2021. Be willing to shoot the three instead of trying to force the mid-range shot. And yeah, her game is still mid-range shooting. That's a good kick out there to Rickea Jackson early on in the game when the Breeze were struggling. But her game's still going to be based around mid-range shooting. She doesn't have to just start chucking threes. But at the end of the day, if you have that ability to shoot the three, if you have that ability to be aggressive, drifting off the ball, easy, pulling the three. If that was 3 games ago, she pump fakes and shoots a bullshit midi. She pump fakes and shoots a midi. She doesn't even look for the three. And if she's able to get in and rise up over Steward. And that's the thing, is the Paige does that better than anyone else. But the thing is, like, she would not have taken this shot. This is when you know it's a player. Like, early in a shot clock, shooting that is when you know she's taken Gino Oriem out of her fucking mind. And is like, you know what? I'm just going to play free. I'm going to play with freedom. And again, you would rather that shot be a pull-up three. At the end of the day, it's not like she's absolutely positively perfect in every situation. But at the end of the day, she shot, 8 threes today? She shot 8 threes, which is exactly what you want to see from Paige. You want to see, at this type of game, 6, 7, 8 threes. In the WNBA, you want to see 5, 6 threes. She attempted there was a stage where I think she went like an 8-game stretch without attempting more than 2 3-point shots. That's not what you want to see. This is what you want to see. And you want to see Paige, like, it's not going to be in the highlights. Paige was chucking bullshit. Like, she was chucking up some absolute bullshit. And then she was going down the next play. That three that she hit just there. She put up she put up a wild 3-point shot to possession before. She took a wild 3-point shot to possession before, and then decided to go and step in and then shoot that one on the trail. Because like the possession before, I think she went like tween, or sorry, like crossover, sidestep to the right, fade away to contested three. And I'm like, okay, she missed it. Let's see what happens. The next play comes in, bam. It reminds me of the Oklahoma game. It was kind of a close game. I think they might have been up single digits at this stage. But there was a play where Paige Bueckers shot the dumbest shot I think I've ever seen Paige Bueckers shoot under Gino. A falling, going left, early shot clock three, and bricked it like 2 feet to the left, hit the underside of the rim, but lands for an offensive rebound. And she trails the play, catches it from maybe a meter behind the 3-point line, immediately after missing badly, steps right into it, nothing but net. And I'm like, okay, this is the fucking player. this is the player that's going to be a WNBA star. Because let's be real. There's never going to be a world where Paige Bueckers is an inefficient player. Like, there's levels to efficiency. But the way she plays, there's never going to be a time she's inefficient. She's just not naturally inclined that way. But when Paige who is someone who is naturally inclined to not be this ultra risk taker, is mentally focusing on being efficient, when someone who's naturally going to be that way is then is starting to focus on it, it becomes almost an obsession. It becomes something that affects her game. It becomes something that affects the actual sport and what she does. And it makes her a worse player. And even the game-winning shot was some bullshit in this game. You'll love to see it. She'd been swatted like 2 possessions earlier. That's not a moving screen. It's the flop. I don't mind that not being called. But like, again, it's there for 83, steps in. I think that actually might have been the shot. The previous possession before that one might have been the bullshit 3. I think that was the 3 she shot after that. But like, even the game winner, like, that's a good pass in there to Malonga. She's starting to look down to bigs, which is something she didn't do well as a rookie. She did not look in well to bigs, and that's why if you are the wings, you take Awafam. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, look at what Cameron Brink and Malonga are doing. People don't understand. There are levels to it. When we talk about best bigs in the WNBA at reading the pick and roll, number 1 is Aaliyah Boston. Number 2 is Fee. Number 3 is Angel Wilson. Angel Wilson, because she just rolls hard. She rolls hard, she's big, she's strong, she's fast, and she can finish. In terms of mentally reading, knowing when to roll, knowing when to go into short roll, knowing when to slip, knowing when to pop, it is Aaliyah Boston, and then there's a big gap. There's nobody else. Our fam is Aaliyah Boston level in the pick and roll. Like, if you are a Dallas Wings fan, and you are anti taking our fam, I fully believe you're just a UConn stan who cares more about fanfic FC and making sure Paige plays with her girlfriend than anything else. Because as good as AZ is, and I do think Paige and AZ, they will fit well together, obviously. But like, do you want Paige to be, if Arike is going to be there, do you want Paige to turn into, to reach her level? Because Paige, with a true point guard, find one of them. I don't care who it is. Bring Ty Harris back and hope that her body's okay. Find a true point guard. Play everything through Paige. Do whatever you can to get off Arike. If getting off Arike means sitting her at the end of the bench or making her a 6th man and starting fucking Zaza James beside Paige, you do that. But at the end of the day, Awafam and Paige Bueckers are going to be the only... It's going to be nearly impossible for a big guard combo to be as good as Caitlin Clark and Leah Boston because of how well they complement each other. Awafam and Paige is going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be real fucking close. Like, especially when Awa hits her prime. But like, Malonga sprinting the floor like that is bullshit. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, I'm okay with her just putting up some absolute bullshit. Do you want to know what she didn't do? She didn't hit the deck. She didn't fall over. She just shot off a pump fake double clutch jump shot released from here. And it's like, that's just so impressive. And that's the thing where it's not even about the highlight tape, because there are games where you can watch Paige go and give you 25 points. And you watch the highlight tape and it looks fantastic. And you watch the game and it's like, she is passing up constantly open shots. Like the first game, she had 25, and I'm like, Paige balled out, but it's just annoying me. It's annoying me watching Paige Bueckers play. Because Paige gave you 25, she should have given you 35. Based on how she plays, she should have given you 35. And we saw it in the last game, which I really liked, that Paige was terrible in the first half. And she continued, she just shot through it. And in the end, she had 25 points. And then in this game here, she was unbelievable from start to finish. And no flaws there. Because everyone's being like, oh, you're just a Paige hater. It's like, well, yeah, absolutely. Because for the reasons that I've said. But if this version of Paige Bueckers mentality-wise, if the Paige who's going to hit a shot and shit talk, if the Paige who's not going to care if she misses 1, 2, 3 shots in a row. She's going to keep chucking. If the Paige Bueckers who's willing to shoot the 3, if the Paige Bueckers who's willing to make a risky pass here and there, because if it goes through, it's a guaranteed 2 points. If that Paige Bueckers exists, because there's obviously, she's never going to be this ultra inefficient player. But if the Paige Bueckers that is willing to take risks, if the Paige Bueckers that is willing to be aggressive, if that player exists, if that player is there for good, oh, you better believe I'm switching up. Because she's not going to frustrate me anymore. She's not going to frustrate me to watch anymore, which, of course, I'll switch up and become a Paige Bueckers fan. Because at the end of the day, I like basketball. And what Paige Bueckers is doing right now, I understand it's unrivaled. But whether it's unrivaled, UConn, the WNBA, even early on unrivaled, it's here. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're playing on the damn street. Maybe she should go, like, at the end of the day, this street ball kind of system, getting Paige Bueckers the hooper back. The Paige Bueckers, for lack of a better word, like, everyone talks about, like, the hoopers versus basketball players. She was a hooper who got molded into a robot basketball player at UConn. If Hooper Paige comes back out, it's great for all of us because she's going to be so fucking fun to watch. And you better believe, for Paige and Caitlin to actually be a rivalry, and Paige fans aren't going to like me saying this, for it to actually be a rivalry and for it not to be Caitlin completely running away with it, Paige has got to become a hooper again. Because I'm sorry, at the next level, just being a basketball player and being passive, not going to work. Not going to win. As we saw for her winning like 0 close games last year.